everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the United Gamedom podcast. My name is Darren, aka Darro, of course, and once again I am joined by the illustrious Donovan Viper, aka Liam.
Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in for the second podcast.
Yes, well, Sarah put it up last week now, and we got some good feedback. Well, some people have been on Twitter though, like people I follow on Twitter, sort of said it's a good show and enjoyed it though, and got a few comments on the YouTube page as well and on the PC Gamer forum. So I'm glad people have enjoyed it though anyway, and hopefully we'll improve on in the future. Of course, once we get into the swing of things and once we bring in guests and things like that now. So how are you doing today, Liam?
I'm not too bad, thanks mate. Chilling. It's a lovely day outside here in jolly old England. So, how's the weather in good old Ireland?
It's kind of cloudy though, so not as shiny as it is over there now. So, but anyway, spring is pretty much around now, and thank goodness the winter cold's behind us now. Anyway, thank goodness for that.
Spring sure has sprung.
Yeah. So anyway, now, and we pretty much have a packed episode today, so we do, because I have a few things to talk about. There's a fair few news stories we'd like to get into, and of course we go through the games we've been playing, and we were talking about this off air last week though, but we'd like to do a Gentleman's Club, where basically, of course, if you know it in Pete's Gaming Forum, is that you're paired up with someone, and then they choose a game for you from like a selection of games that it's pretty much on your backlog that they want you to finish, and you choose a game from their list for them to finish in a certain period of time now. So anyway, I give a list to Liam on Twitter, so he has chosen one for me, and I'll find that out later on once we get into that part. So anyway, let's get going into the gaming news. So Liam, what news is there for us today?
Last week, EA have struck again. I say they've struck again because they have announced even more server shutdowns. As some of you may know, EA, recently they've released online passes to play certain games. But way before they did this, they let you actually play online for free, which, it was a shock when they did that, but now they've found some monetary way of getting extra people to play online. Now they've added passes, but I'll get back into the games which were free online before they came into this. Burnout Revenge, the server is shutting.
Yes, but that's like a pretty old game anyway, though. It's been out since, 2006?
Yeah. Create, I have no idea which game that is, but unfortunately good thing is there are no multiplayer achievements, so that's alright there. EA Sports Active 2, which was a kind of a shocker because you need like all these stats for the leaderboards, I believe. That was a kind of a strange one. Next up we've got The Godfather 2. Luckily again this has no online achievements. Need for Speed Pro Street. There are quite a few mods giving out the Beta Moderator achievement recently, so good on them, and basically once that's gone, I have no idea what they're going to do. No doubt they'll probably go back and do a bit of Carbon, because even though Pro Street was released after Carbon servers are still up and running, so that's a strange one.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if, because I think the Most Wanted ones are gone now as well, though, since that was pretty much a launch game, but if that's the case, that's kind of strange.
Next up we've got The Saboteur. Now, apparently, there are no online achievements for this, but you'd only be losing access to the Midnight Club. So having not played that game before, have you played Saboteur before now?
Yeah, I actually got it there not too long ago, and I played like the couple of hours off, and I actually enjoyed what I played of it though, and it's one of those games I need to get back to sometime.
I need to look into that again soon. Another game which I've never heard of is called Spare Parts.
It is I believe it's an Xbox Live Arcade game. It's like one of those EA partner games, and I think it was released like last year, so it's not really a game that's been out long. I don't think it's been done very well, because these are the things that they shut down when there's like less than 1% activity or something. And that's the reason why they get shut down.
Luckily for us, though, the achievements are all offline, so we don't need the online required for the achievements on that one. And finally, I said about the EA passes before. Luckily for me, I fully 1K'd this game, and it took me approximately 25 hours. And that game is EA Sports MMA. Now, coming from a personal standpoint, I believe at the time that this was released, it was better than UFC Undisputed 2009. Now, that's just a personal view from me, but Darro, have you played it, or either of them?
I played a demo of UFC 2009 and like 2010 now, and they're just not my kind of games though. And I heard this, I never played the MMA one, so I have no interest in it either.
Okay. Luckily for me, though, I already completed it when the XP was only 40 XP per win. But now that the servers are closing on April 13th, they've upped it to about 200 XP, I believe. So a lot of people are probably going to get all the online done on that one, thankfully. And as I said before, they all close on the 13th of April. So if you need any of the online achievements on any of those games, get them done before it closes.
Yeah, so for all you achievement whores out there, better get to it.
Now I'd like to pass the baton to you, Darrow, if you've got any news that you'd like to share.
Yes, well, before getting to sort of news I was going to talk about, there was one basically just came out pretty much as of today, and that is it's the continuing adventures of pretty much of Games Woes, and that as of today they have filed for administration. So pretty much they seem to be really in the shitter now. Don't you think?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm just going to go out on a whim and say I feel really sorry for like the floor staff that work in each shops and the warehouse people, and it's a shame to see such a big company go down the shitter, really.
Yes, it is though. But there was like news of something that they were going to, do a temporary administration perhaps, and then just relaunch themselves, but like close some stores and just like get rid of the, whole Game Station brand. I heard that as of yesterday. I don't know if that's, still going through now or not though. But it still seems to be that this could be the end for a game though. And as I said, it is a shame for those ones in the lower part of the hierarchy now who are going to get like fired and redundant, and it's just a shame though, and we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of this though in the next few weeks or so.
I think I read somewhere that combined sales staff, if Game and Game Station go under, is going to come to approximately 22,000 unemployed people.
Yep, and pretty much unemployment here in the UK is pretty much quite high at the moment though, so that's not going to help things.
It's a shame, really. How long have it's been open for about a good, well, you're older than I am, so you probably have a better recollection than I do, so
I wouldn't exactly know. I think it's probably around mid-90s or so. I think the one that opened here now opened around 1999, so it was around, probably 12, 15 years anyway though, so pretty much been going for a while though, but it's been not been doing good over the last few months because of certain games that haven't been shelved. There's like more games, like they weren't not getting Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City, or Ninja Gaiden 3, or any of those games. So it's just a shame though. But like a lot of people, as I said last week, are pretty much glad to see it go under because they absolutely detest game. But I don't detest them. There's sometimes I don't like some of their trade-in prices and things like that now, but I don't think they're as bad as what some people claim they are.
I'd just like to reiterate something that I had read earlier on. It's a shame that people detest them as much because it's not really the floor staff's fault with all the prices and everything. It's all to do with the CEOs and how much profit they've got to make at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So, next time you take the mick out of somebody who's potentially going to lose their job and lose their stability for their family to put food on the table, just remind yourself, if you're ever put in that position, remind me to laugh in your face as well. So, just a bit of a rant there to all the people that have taken the mick out of game. It's not the floor people's fault. It is actually the big wigs up in the headquarters and whatnot. So, That's got that off my chest, matey.
Yeah, well, you pretty much had. That's pretty much what you had to say. Go ahead and do it. So anyway, that's enough of that there now. Anyway, pretty much one that I sort of kind of surprised I saw coming last week as well after the whole Darro's Delights feature on Shenmue and how much I love that series. And that there was a video, I believe, on some site, I forget what the site is, that there was this reporter saying about some of the games that to one of the like a PR from Sega asking certain games for the Sega Dreamcast going to be released on Xbox Live Arcade and PSN, and the guy said that two of them would be Shenmue and Skies of Arcadia. Now I was very happy to hear this now, and then even more surprising afterwards in that there was these stories coming about that Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 HD have been finished for over a year. And they're just sort of, this is not fully confirmed now. It's kind of just rumors at this point though. But they've been saying that they've both been finished for over a year, and they're just trying to sort out where they're going to take this. If there's going to be actually going to be a Shenmue 3 or not, and probably release them if this turns out to be true, which I really hope they do, because as I said last week, I absolutely loved Shenmue, and I would gladly pay the money for HD versions. I know you haven't played the games, them ones out, but have you ever played Skies of Arcadia?
I haven't. I've been a bit deprived when it came to the Sega side because I've always been a Nintendo fanboy, as I believe I told you last week. So
yes, exactly. That's right.
I'll be looking forward to picking those up on the Xbox Live Arcade if and when they do come out. So it's nice to hear like a big fan of Shenmue, with such a smile on their face. I could tell you were smiling while you were saying that. So bring on Shenmue and Skies of Arcadia.
Yes, I'm very happy to see that. Like, Skies of Arcadia is actually one of those quite rare Dreamcast games though, because it goes for a pretty penny on eBay, so it does, and it was re-released on the GameCube as well. It's known as Skies of Arcadia Legends, so I think that might go for a pretty penny as well. So if you ever want to get those games, then if you have the cash, then go ahead, because I played like a good bit of it on the Dreamcast, and it was a very good RPG. I just got to a point where I got completely stuck and didn't know where the hell to go, and pretty much stopped playing it then. So anyway, do you have any more news, Liam?
Not off the top of my head. I think we've cleared both, because the only ones that I wanted to talk about was the EA server closures on the Xbox Live and I believe PSN, and the game. So
Well, I have a few more to talk about anyway, so do. Another one that a lot of people will probably be happy to hear is that Diablo 3, which is quite a big franchise from Blizzard, has finally got a release date. And that release date is May the 15th, so it is. So for all those ones who are pretty much been, waiting anxiously for Diablo 3, you finally got their day. But the problem is, there's some people not happy, because during that time in the States, there's finals. And also over here, there will probably be people doing their, GCSEs and A levels, or like starting it and revising for it and that there. So probably kind of not really a great time to like put it out now, because there will be people really, pretty much, playing the shit out of it though. Have you ever played any of the Diablo games?
I haven't. That's another game that I've been deprived of. So I'll definitely look into either renting it or picking it up, when it comes out.
Yeah, the thing is, you can pre-purchase it on Battle.net, which is the whole Blizzard sort of like network thing, which StarCraft uses, and StarCraft 2 uses, and now like World of Warcraft, I believe, uses it as well. And I believe as well that it actually, it doesn't actually come with PvP, and I think it's just standard PvE and like co-op at the moment though. but it will eventually probably come in an update though. So it's May the 15th though. I don't know if that's worldwide now. I believe it probably is for most of the world, and like I think it's June the 7th elsewhere, so it is for some other places as well. I played a bit of Diablo 2 a while back. I thought it was pretty good, but I'll be very looking forward to playing this here though in the future. Um, Finally though, the one I just want to talk about now is I don't know if you go to a site called Jan Bomb, do you?
I don't.
Right, Jan Bomb is this. Some of you probably who have been listening to this know what Jan Bomb is. So it's a site formed by was part of Whiskey Media, which is basically this brand, kind of a weird name, yes, but it has this. It was like under the Whiskey Media brand, which had hosted all these different sites like Tested and things like that now. But they've been bought out by CBS Interactive. Now, you may be wondering, why am I talking about this here? This doesn't really, be exciting or that. The thing is, the staff of Giant Bomb are going to CBS Interactive, and the thing is, they used to be part of GameSpot, and GameSpot are owned also by CBS Interactive. Now, if you were in GameSpot back in 2007, there was this big controversy surrounding Jeff Gerstmann and getting fired, apparently over a review that he did on Kane and Lynch Dead Men. Now, I personally have never played the game. Have you played Kane and Lynch?
I played the first bit of it, and the opening basically gave me really bad motion sickness. The same with Mirror's Edge. So unfortunately, I've only played like the opening sequence.
Yeah, apparently like he gave it a sort of bad, he gave it a 6 though, and he gave it a bad score, and then apparently he was pretty much fired, and a lot of sort of opinions, a lot of people's speculation was that he actually got fired for that review because at the time there was this whole ad campaign, because pretty much every time you went to GameSpot down that time there was these big bloody ad banners for that game, and a lot of people were pissed off at it and saying that in a way GameSpot lost its integrity back then, and it just went to shitter. And as I said, I used to be part of GameSpot back then, but once that happened though, I kind of lost a bit of respect though for it, and a lot of people pretty much went to the wayside then afterwards, and joined up with Giant Bomb then, because Giant Bomb was created by, formed up with Jeff Gershman and people who, went left GameSpot because of that, like Ryan Davis and that, Brad Shoemaker. And now they're pretty much going home in a way. They're not going to be forming with GameSpot, they'll just be under the same brand, but in a way they are going home because they're going back to the same building that they were a part of for a number of years, and they'll be, joining forces with some of the GameSpot staff, I presume, for certain things, probably in the future as well. So it's interesting to see, though. A lot of people are happy with it. It's seem kind of cool with this news. Some people deem them sellouts, but just as long as it just makes the site to continue to grow, because I visit both GameSpot and Giant Bomb, and I really like the content that Giant Bomb does. It's quite different to most of your sort of average video game sites. So that's pretty much my 30-minute diatribe there. So anyway, let's get into games that we've been playing at the moment now. So Liam, take it away.
If you guys remember last week, I was playing Dark Souls, and to my memory, I seriously cannot remember how far I'd got when I was speaking to you last. Trying to pick my brains, and I think I was at the was it the tourist team I think I was at?
You said you were facing the boar, the steel boar at the Undead Parish area.
Yes, I remember that now. Luckily for me, I managed to get past that boar. It only took me about 8 or 9 lives, but I did it. I managed to basically run like a chicken shit all the way to the Moonlight Butterfly. Don't know if you remember the Moonlight Butterfly, Darrow.
So pretty much you just went way ahead to a whole different area in the game.
I did. I went through this random overgrown garden thing, and you had to. Well, I don't know if you had to fight him. I just ran past him. It was kind of like an enemy which used to shoot electricity from its like antlers or something.
Right.
And before that, there's a little blacksmith guy, right? And he's there pumping away, getting all the swords. I thought, all right, I'm going to talk to him. So I spoke to him a little bit. He was talking to me, going to build up your weapons and everything. And I hit the attack button by mistake.
Yes. So you pretty much hit him, and therefore you're screwed.
Fucker came at me, fucking punching the shit out of me as I was trying to get down the stairs, back to the bonfire at the top of the staircase. But damn it, man, I have to basically sprint through him, sprint through the Antler Man, defeat all these like pseudo-widow from Pokemon style trees that attack you with like bamboo.
I just call them ants because that's what they remind me of. Again, Lord of the Rings reference. You probably hear that probably once an episode.
Yeah, goes completely over my head because I'm ashamed to say I've never sat down and watched the Lord of the Rings at all.
So you're pretty much like Jason Haney from the All Gen Gamers then, except for he because there's this running gag that he said he never watched them, and they basically handed him for like 9 months until he finally watched the Fellowship of the Ring there a few weeks ago.
All right, okay, so
I'll probably do the same for you for the next 9 months if we go on that long.
Last week it was hello Hannah Montana, how are you? This week it's Fellowship of the Ring, bitch.
Yes.
So yeah, I managed to run past them. I managed to go through the white like cloudiness that takes you to the enemy.
The fog.
And then the Moonlight Butterfly basically sends kind of like these green arrows at me, and basically I'm dead because they go straight through my shield. So perseverance is key. I will get past this, whether or not it takes me, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Little by little, we are getting there. So.
Yes, getting there in the entirely wrong direction because you completely are skipping a good chunk of the game to get there. Yeah, no, I'm not. Because you're actually supposed to go into the church, which is near the blacksmith and not there, and you actually go up there to face the proper first bosses, which are the bell gargoyles, because the first task you have to do in these games is you have to ring these bells. You have to ring the bell at the top of this tower by defeating them, and then you go down to this other area called the depths to kill this dragon, and then you go into this area called Blight Time, which I mentioned, and you have to defeat another boss there to ring the second bell, which will open up this other area. So you're pretty much going in the wrong direction. You don't go into that area till like a good chunk later, though. Till at least you've done at least Blight Town.
Okay, well, I said I'd like doing things quick, so completely skipping. So which way should I go then? Being at the bonfire underneath the blacksmith, which way should I go? Should I go back or?
Yeah, you go back up the stairs, and then pretty much you just go straight forward. Though there's pretty much the entrance to like the church, pretty much it is. But there's a big like knight there, like steel knight though. But he's pretty slow, and you can easily defeat him though. But like, if there's pretty much as I said though, I'm kind of a bit of an expert. Well, not a big flipping aficionado now, but a bit of an expert now because I've died a lot during that area though, so I know where to go, what to do, etc. So
yeah,
pretty much go back up the stairs and go through to cross the way.
The knight is the huge guy. Well, not huge, but he kind of looks like the guy off of Ghostbusters Popperfresh, or the Michelin Man, and he's the guy with the fuck off size sword, isn't he?
Yes.
I do remember kind of attacking him and trying to dodge him, and basically my sword was doing jack. So once again, perseverance.
But the thing is, though, you screwed up with the blacksmith knife because you hit him. But don't worry, because during my first playthrough, I accidentally hit another NPC character in the depths area, and I actually killed him though because I couldn't do anything about it. He kept attacking me, and I wasn't able to use any pyromancy magic because that was the guy. Unless you start off as a pyromancer, he was the one who gave you like the pyromancy flame. He gave you like some of the magic to use to start things off, and I wasn't able to use it for the rest of the game because I killed that character. And pretty much when he's dead, he stays dead.
Okay, so I've got a lot to look forward to then.
Yeah, so I know for a fact though that you will never get 1,000 points in this game by the end of the year. I'd be lucky if you actually finish the game by the end of the year at this rate.
Yeah. Because, I mean, taking the wrong direction and doing that, I didn't know where I was going. I must admit.
Basically running around like a headless chicken at that point, it seemed.
Pretty much. So, yeah, I'm kind of like the person who doesn't read the guides, doesn't look online for hints or tips or anything, so I kind of get hints and tips off of people that have already played it, so, no spoilers, thank you.
Well, yeah, I'd pretty much be spoiling the hell out of you, though, if you do need help, though,
Yeah.
which will probably be within the end, by the end of next month. Will you be pleading to me? Give me tips! Give me tips!
Start again! I'll start again, we can play together!
Yeah, start again. I'll start another class and I'll help you along for the ride if you wish.
Sweet, that sounds like a plan, mate. Other games I've been playing, well, in homage to the Formula One season starting on last Saturday, well, last Thursday if you want to count the practice sessions, I have been playing F1 2010. I don't know if you're a fan of Formula One at all, Darren?
I got it. I got a bit into it like during mid-season last year now, and I kind of watched some of the races though, but I kind of just dropped off them towards the end of the season though, because it just like this is just boring. It's just flipping that winning all the time. I'm not a fan of things winning. I don't like Man United winning the football Premiership all the time. I just hate when people just win consecutively, and just to me that's just boring.
I have to agree with the Man United side, so we apologise for any Man United fans listening.
Yes.
So yeah, I believe I'm on race 9. I seriously can't tell you what the venues are because I'm just getting used to it, and I believe I'm 6th in the single player championships, and I am leading the way on the what's the manufacturer called?
Constructor? Oh, well, the Constructor Championship,
Yeah,
though, anyway.
I think I'm racing as a Virgin car. It's first time for everything being a Virgin, isn't there? So, driving a Formula One car for probably, the best Formula One team's name going. And, yeah, currently I'm sitting pretty mid-table. So, well, mid-table will be 10th. So, anything can change in any race. So, yeah. Nothing much I can tell you about Formula One 2010. Good game.
I played it though anyway. I like rented it out though. It's not bad though. I like it though, but it's just not for me really.
Yeah, it's a hard one to describe, isn't it? Unless you're a fan of the whole thing. It's pretty complicated. The driving mechanics are good. You can do a long Grand Prix, which is 70, 50 or 60 odd laps, depending on the venue. I'm doing short ones, which is only 10 laps a race on average.
Yeah, I couldn't spend like an hour on or whatever doing like the full races because you'd be going, yay, I'm doing so well, and then the last lap you screw up and get like crappy position and wasted like an hour of your life.
Yes. Moving swiftly on, because no doubt that is what's going to happen to me, just approaching the finishing line and my engine blows. Next game I've been playing is WWE All-Stars. I've taken a real nice shine to this game. It's been a while since THQ have released a nice arcadey kind of WWE game, so it's a nice game. The last one that resembled an arcade game, I believe, was Legends of WrestleMania, but that was a lot of what do they call it? Real time. You know, where you hit buttons to perform finishes and.
QTEs.
Yeah, that's the one.
Is that what it was?
Quick time events. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name when I was describing it myself. So yeah, it's not a bad game. I'd recommend it because in Game and Game Station, if they're still going by the end of this podcast, which I hope they are, in there it's £7.98, and believe it or not, I was resisting picking it up, but now I am super happy that I did. For all you achievement whores out there, it is a nice, easy 1,000. You know, you can plug in a second controller, which thankfully I can say I haven't done. You know, because I like my wrestling games and wrestling in general, so I like to get the full equivalent of the money that I paid out for them there.
What is your take on the SmackDown series at the moment?
Oh, I absolutely loved, and I'm probably in the minority here, I loved them all, you know, 2005, 6, 7, 8, but after 8, you know, well, that's a chocolate franchise, so after 8 plug there, you know, after 2008, it was kind of repetitive, if that makes sense. It seemed that they recycled the campaigns, but didn't really think too much about it, you know, including different characters, but the same storylines.
Yeah, I am one of those ones who think that pretty much reached their peak with Here Comes the Pain, which was the 2003-2004 game, and they haven't really gotten better since then. But there was ones I did enjoy afterwards, though. I enjoyed SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. I enjoyed 2007. 2008 I did not like, because the campaign mode in it was known as 24/7 mode. To me, it was a real shit fest.
Surprisingly, I actually enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie. And what sold it for me up until 2009, because they took it out, was the GM mode.
Yes, I think because I don't think there was a lot of people probably weren't playing it though, didn't really like it though. I thought it was interesting though. But there was achievements tied to it, and I'm ashamed to say I pretty much explored it because there's these little tips online to like win GM of the Year awards for points, and I pretty much stooped to that level back then and got them.
I was the sort of person that 2007, 2008, I'd get a notepad and I'd write down, you know, different storylines and different win and loss columns and everything like that for each superstar. I was one of those sad people that actually sat down and did that. It was great at the time, but I'll be buggered if I go back and do that. Like when I was young, naive, innocent, you know, and nothing or nobody could do no wrong. So that pretty much clears up everything that I've been playing, Darren. What have you been playing?
Well, I have a fair few games to talk about, so strap your shit in for the next hour. I'm just kidding now. It's not gonna be like a feature length games we've been playing now. If you want that, go to All Gen Gamers podcast. Anyway, now as I said, I've been playing a few games. Now I'm going to talk about Mass Effect 3. I actually forgot to mention this in the news now about Mass Effect 3, but I'll just get into it here before. Mass Effect 3, I was saying about last week, the whole backlash towards the ending and people, you know, getting annoyed by it and filing petitions. And it's just kind of gotten worse since then, that there's actually someone out there filed an FTC complaint against EA and BioWare. And also there was news, I believe yesterday or Monday, that BioWare were actually considering changing the ending. And if that's the case, I just have to do a face palm if that's the case, because to me, I don't care if people hated the ending though. As I said, there is a lot of people out there pretty much are absolutely detesting it. But if you actually go in under peer pressure and actually change it, to me that's just kind of, at least a bit of respect though. And it's like, this is the ending that they wanted to do, or they actually could have, you know, made it sort of controversial to get it talking. I don't know. I'm not in the Bioware offices now, but it just seems to be getting worse now, and so it does. Now, back to Mass Effect 3. I said I've been playing it though still. I don't know how far I'm into it now. I'm probably maybe about 2/3 of the way through. For those of you who've been playing it as well, I am just about to do the Rannoch missions after fighting the Geth on the ship. So that pretty much is, you can pretty much know where I'm at there for those ones who've played it and finished it. I'm really enjoying it now. It's really it's quite different to the previous ones though, because it's just very interesting to go through these certain characters that you've met along the way and sort of revisit them in these different areas. And some of them join you though once again for your battle against the Reapers now. And I said just some of the character interactions are interesting though between some of your crew mates on the Normandy though. And there's just a lot of dialogue in this game though. It's cool. Like you could just be walking into like this area in the ship, and then you hear like Gareth and James basically trying to one up and ship each other, like one up them, and pretty much saying, "I've done this," and then James goes, "No, but I've done this. Can you top that?" And it's just I just love that camaraderie and like the different dialogue interaction between certain characters. So I've played some more multiplayer though. It's still fun though. My opinions haven't really changed that much though from last week though. Still enjoying it a lot though. Still kicking ass with my Vanguard, and very much looking forward to this ending that a lot of people seem to hate. Now I've been playing a game that's pretty much been getting appraisal throughout the board, and it is a little PSN game from that game company, and it is called Journey. Now, I know I seen a video of you that you said you're no longer a PS3 owner. Isn't that right, Liam?
That is correct.
Well, I wish you actually got rid of it after you played Journey, because my goodness, I downloaded this and played it Sunday morning, and I absolutely loved it. It is £10. It lasts about 90 minutes to 2 hours, so you might be saying, £10 for 2 hour game? Fuck that. You'll be missing out. That's all I can say, because I absolutely loved this game. I tweeted about it afterwards. It was just pretty much, I was speechless. It's this game that you play this game, you just basically be this little character, and you're wandering around this sort of whole desert environment though, and your objective is to get to this mountain, which is long way into the distance, and along the way you can actually meet other players, but the fact that the thing is that you actually don't know who they are. Like, you actually don't know who this other player is until the end of the game, until you finish it, and then you'll see their PSN ID. I was lucky enough to meet someone pretty early on, pretty much at the start of the game, and it was just that guy from the get-go, from start to finish. I had the one companion throughout, and I just had an absolute blast playing the game. And I actually messaged the guy afterwards and said, "Thanks to you for making my first journey memorable," or something, like something silly like that. But the guy didn't reply, so he probably didn't feel the same way. Yes, it's kind of sad though, but it's just one of those games that kind of, to me, it's kind of powerful though. Like, I was just speechless by the end of it though. At the end of the day, it's just an absolute amazing game, and at the moment, it's my game of the year. For a 90-minute to 2 hour game to say that, you believe me, it's pretty powerful when a game like that pretty much moves you in a way that it did. I can go on all day. Journey, just basically, if you have a PS3, I recommend download it though, because it's just a beautiful game, beautiful graphics, great music, just a lovely game, and as I said, just a wonderful game. If you enjoyed Flower, if you enjoyed Flow, you're definitely gonna enjoy this as well. Also, I played a bit more Dark Souls now. I got through Blight Town with the guy I mentioned last week who absolutely loves Dark Souls as much more than I do. So I played through it though. Don't have much more to say. I love Dark Souls, so that's pretty much all I have to say. Now, have you played Star Fox 64, or as it was known here, Lilac Wars?
I have.
Now, have you played the 3DS version?
I don't own a 3DS, I'm afraid, so that's another negative from me.
Right. I basically bought a bunch of games last week from Game, and it was one of them. It was like £18 pre-owned, down from £25. So as well, yeah, it's less than £20. So this is the best chance to get it now. And I love Lilac Wars. It's one of my favorite N64 games, and I've been playing it there during work when I'm off on my breaks though, and I've gotten really bad at that game for the life. I just don't know. I can't beat the final boss for some reason. I tried a few times and I could not beat Andros, his real form, not the easy form now, the hard way where you have to fight Starwolf and Venom, which they're a pain in the ass as well. And I just gotten really cruddy at that game though. I could easily beat them, get the medal for that stage back in N64 days, but now I just can't for the life of me. What do you think of Star Fox or Lilac Wars?
I really enjoyed it, I must admit. Refreshing my memory a minute. Starwing, is that part of the same franchise?
Starwing is the first one here it was called Star Fox, but we named it Starwing, and then it was Star Fox 64, and then for some reason it was called Lilac Wars here, which to me, I just like that name better though. I don't know why. I think it's just better though than Star Fox 64 because that was the Nintendo's marketing where they named every single bloody game out for the N64 with the 64 at the end.
Yeah, it was a shame the Nintendo 64 that they did result into calling every title 64, but from my memory, I must admit, it's been a good 5 or 6 years since I last played Lilac Wars. So I may have to revisit it because my favourite character out of the game was the little Toad Man, but I seriously can't remember what he was called.
Slippy. Everyone, that was your favourite character. Everyone else that I know seems to hate Slippy with a passion. It's just like, I hate Slippy. Fuck Slippy.
His dialogue was just so random and funny. I just couldn't help cracking up. Maybe it's just my sense of humor, but
yeah, that's one of the things as well. That the voice acting, I don't know if it's the same. To me, I don't think it is. I think the voices are different in this here, but I actually prefer the N64 ones. To me, just sounds a lot better. So they do some of the dialogue and the way the dialogue's spoken in the N64 version to compare to the 3DS version. But the 3DS version does look very nice, so I have to say that though. It's a really nice graphical upgrade from the N64 version. I actually haven't, as I said, I haven't finished it yet because I've gotten really crap at that game. Anyway, moving on.
Before we move on, I've been dying to do this ever since you mentioned the bloody game. But is there any tips that you can give for the players playing Journey if they get stuck at all?
It's not really a game that you can really get stuck at though. It's pretty self-explanatory though. All you really need to do is you can go around certain areas and find these little shiny symbols pretty much, and they extend your scarf. You pretty much have this little loose scarf though, and extends it though the more you get, and therefore you can jump and hover for a longer period of time. But unfortunately there's an area in the game where these enemies, it's like this dark under sort of ground. It's like quite dark, and you have to sort of keep in cover because these enemies come around with like searchlights, and if they find you, that you can get hit by them and lose a chunk of your scarf. And I got hit by one of them, and luckily it was the only one I got hit by. Whereas my companion, unfortunately, pretty much got hit by nearly every single one after that. Pretty much got hit probably about maybe 3 or 4 more times. And by the end of the game, he had barely any scarf left, where I had a pretty long flowing one. And but it's not really that difficult a game though. Like you pretty much just progress on. It's kind of like light puzzle elements now, but not really though. You just pretty much just journey onwards. It's not really a hard game.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening, getting through the scarf bit, if you're having trouble, then all you have to do is don't stop believing. Yeah, I've been wanting to get that in all bloody time I heard you mention Journey.
There's your bad joke / pun of the week, folks.
It is. If you've soldiered through 55 minutes coming up to now of listening to the podcast, you are a trooper.
Yes, it's very bad indeed.
I'm sorry, I had to think, I was trying to think, can any way you want it fit in there? Shall I ask him if there's a difficult part of the game? Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
No, it's not really. Anyway, I've played some Dodonpachi Resurrection, which I mentioned briefly last week. I think I did. And I played through it. I played through it on novice mode because I'm a wimp, and it's easier to avoid certain bullets because in standard mode, of course, the bullets are pretty much everywhere, whereas novice mode, they're just pretty much half everywhere. Very, very enjoyable shoot 'em up. And Liam, you said you played it though, haven't you?
I have. I am loving it, I must admit. Once again, I am a chicken shit like you, my friend. I have been playing it on novice mode as well. So,
I don't think there was like a novice mode in Death Smiles, but there was like the certain levels though. You had like level 1, level 2, and level 3, and basically the lower the level, the less bullets come your way, and the higher the level, the more bullets come your way. So that's pretty much Death Smiles' version of the novice mode. And there is another cave shoot 'em up coming out soon here, which is called Akai Katana, I believe, and I think it's coming out next month. So for you shoot 'em up fans, there's another one heading your way next month, I believe, here in Europe. So look out for it. What else have I been playing now? I have been playing a few other games though, but I can't think at the moment what they are. Let's see here. I'm going to be talking here for the next 20 minutes now. I think that's pretty much probably all I've been meaning to talk about now. I played a bit of Metal Slug Anthology as well. I got it, and Green Day Rock Band, and that's probably pretty much mainly what I've been wanting to talk about.
There's not many games that you can play in a week, is there really?
Nah, well, that's yours, Pete Dorr.
Yeah.
But there is other people that probably play loads more games though than I do though. But as I say, I have a job. I can't sit in my ass all day long and playing games. But luckily I was off from last Saturday though, and I'm back on Friday night. So I've got a good lengthy period of time off, and therefore I've been playing like a few games anyway. Also, before we head on to the next part of the podcast now, Dark Souls now, like I should have brought this up in news as well, but apparently there's going to be an announcement for Dark Souls, a Dark Souls announcement coming along, and it could be either DLC or it might be this sort of heavily rumored PC version that's been coming around apparently for a while. I don't know what it'll be now, but if it is a PC version, knowing me, I'll probably buy it, and that'll be the third version of the game I've got. and if they have enabled mods, if you can use mods or some sort in that game, then that version would be pretty awesome. And therefore you can cheat your way to playing the game then, Liam, if you have a good PC to run it.
Damn it, probably the only time that I'd be able to beat Dark Souls and my bloody laptop won't be able to run it. Balls.
Anyway, right, moving on now. It's pretty much been probably been like not nearly an hour through now. Now anyway, back to the Gentleman's Club now. As I said at the start of the show, the Gentleman's Club is a feature that it was brought on in the Pete's Game Room forum. If you visit that now, whereas another person, you pair it up with another person, and they choose a game from a list of backlog games that you've selected. You asked them to pick from. They give you the game, and they can give you certain extra objectives as well. Say, for example, you have to beat this game, maybe twice or something. Like, for example, the last one I got in there was I had to finish The World Ends With You, and I also had to finish the extra day for it, which was known as Another Day. And I had to do that by the end of January, which I did. Were you part of the last Gentleman's Club?
I was paired up with, can't remember his name, but he challenged me to complete Dark Souls. Bloody hell. He challenged me to complete Mirror's Edge, and I stuck it in for 20 minutes, and I basically upchucked everywhere. The motions in the game basically threw me off, and I tried about 4 or 5 times throughout the time that we were given, but every time, thumping headache, twice I believe I threw up, so apologies if you are eating during this podcast. And so unfortunately I became a rascal forevermore.
Yes, well I was a rascal in the first time because I didn't finish out the Colossus, but I regained my gentlemanship pretty much with finishing World Ends With You, and it was a very good game. And I'll actually be doing one pretty soon in the forum though, because I know there's a few people who'd like to see another one. And I think it'd be myself and Aerodynamics Mike. One of us will probably be, in charge of it now. So if you want to join it, then just look for more information in the next coming weeks. So anyway, now as I said, I gave Liam a bunch of games via Twitter, for him to choose one of them for me to play through, and if there's any other objectives that he wishes to put onto me and make me, squeal like a girl if it's that impossible. So Liam, what is the game that you've chosen for me to play?
Oh, it's nice having a bit of power on the podcast, I must admit. Just a brief introduction here. Some of you may or may not listen to the Rad Rascals podcast. One of the co-hosts, Andy, or Anzi as he's known on throughout the interwebs, he was the creator of the Gentleman's Club, and I believe I hope I've got this game right, in which he played. He absolutely loved this game. So hopefully that kind of gives it away to you, matey, and all the listeners to the Rad Rascals podcast. And I believe he went into his local game station, asked if they had any copies of this particular game that Darro is going to be playing, and the vendor behind the counter basically looked at him as if he came in and pissed on all his kids' presents Christmas morning.
Yes, I think I know which game that you've chosen for me now, and I'll be like, oh no, no.
So the only thing that you have to do in this game, matey, is complete the campaign or the single player. Having not played it myself, I can't really tell you, so I'm going to let you guess after this drum roll. The game that I have made you play is...
Deadly Premonition.
Correct. So your challenge is basically complete single player or the campaign. As I've said, I haven't played it myself yet, but that's basically it. And we can talk about it next week during our next week's
Games that we've been playing.
Yes, that was it. Basically mind fucked there, not gonna admit. So yes, matey, that is your challenge.
Now, you said that you wanted to do one, or are you going to give me a list of games for me to choose for you for next week?
Would you like this now, or shall I just play the game that I've said that I'll play and send you the list through for next week?
Uh, well, let's send the one for next week because Liam actually wanted to do a game already, and that was LA Noir. And I just basically said go ahead with it if he wishes to. If that's the one he wants to do, then go ahead. And he said he's gotten progress into it though, um, you said you got to the Vice campaign, was it?
Yes,
Or
the advice desk, yeah.
the Vice. So pretty much going along then. So anyway, that's the game that he wanted to do. So, but if he wants another game to put on that there, then he can do so. Send me a list, Liam, on Twitter, and I'll choose one for you for next time.
Will do, matey, will do. We could really alternate it, set different people, different games, so one's playing one next week and one's playing the week after if you feel like it, or should we just both do it week after week? It's up to you. I don't mind.
Yeah, it might be best to just alternate though, like you said though. One of us will do one like for next time though. But like I'm not gonna finish Deadly Premonition now within a week now, of course, unless I play the shit out of it and just basically ignore Mass Effect 3 and games like that now, then I don't know. But that will do though, as I said, like you said, just alternate between one another.
Cool. Cool, matey, cool.
So this is going steadily along now. I actually said beforehand that I actually wasn't going to do a Douse the Light stuff, but since this is actually a bit on the short side for the moment, I decided that I will put one in here because I actually do have a game in mind. Once when we were talking about it, and it's one for the N64. Now, it's a game that was made by Konami. It is one that it's only the second game that was in this series that was brought over here to the West. The original was on the Super Nintendo, and it is based on ancient Japan, and it stars a blue spiky-haired fellow. Now, Liam, do you have any idea what game I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about, but his mind escapes me. He's the little dude that wears kind of like an orange or white kind of like, oh, what's it called? When you do jiu-jitsu and things like that, isn't he?
Yes, it's a game. As I said, yeah. I don't know if you're thinking of the same character now, but I assume you are. The game in question is Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
Goemon, yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Yes. Now the first one I was on the first one was The Legend of the Mystical Ninja on the Super Nintendo, and the second one was Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. There was a sequel that came out a few years later on the N64 as well, which was just known as Mystical Ninja starring Goemon 2, or Mystical Ninja 2 starring Goemon. But it was known as Goemon's Great Adventure in the North America, so it was. Now, in this here now, that you start as Goemon along with his crew. You start with Ibizumaru, Sasuke, the Sasuke, and Yai. And basically, as I said, it starts in ancient Japan though, and basically the castle, Odeo Castle, is changed into this kind of weird sort of wonderland though, and you actually find out that it's these guys called I think it's the Great Peach Mountain Shoguns, kind of a weird name indeed, and they are these characters that actually want to sort of, they're kind of all about music, so they are. And Actually, I have to look this up because I actually haven't been prepared for this now. I can just look on site here and I can get a better understanding. Sorry, bear with me, folks, here.
Yeah, having not played the actual game itself, I just remember the box art really with the as I said, I believe he's got a white or an orange kind of like karate uniform with his blue spiked hair. I've never actually played the game myself, so all this is new to me, as was Shenmue. So I'm loving Darrow's delights at the minute. So carry on if you're ready, matey.
Right, the story is, basically come here for Wikipedia, yes, I'm not bad. It says, while shopping over the town, Goma and Bisivaru feel the ground quake as a peach-shaped flying object sailed overhead. The festival fires a laser at Odeo Castle, turning into a European-style castle with spires and flags. Worried for the safety of the Lord of Odeo and his daughter, Goman and Bisimaru retrieve a chain pipe from Mount Fuji and assault the castle. Inside is Baron, a member of the fashion-loving Gang of Four, who reveals he was sent to turn the castle into a stage. Goman shrugs him off and defeats the King Robot Kong to free the Lord and find a miracle item. The Lord asks Goman to catch them and gives a super pass for access to the roads of Japan. And basically, he goes along the way and encounters these different characters that are part of this, as I said, Peach Mountain Shoguns. And what they are is basically this kind of sort of, they're just sort of joyous little group though, and just want to spread their like sort of wonder throughout the land, and like they're kind of this musical like groupish pretty much, so they are. And you pretty much go explore throughout Japan, so you do in these different areas. And I said it before, to me this is sort of like the precursor in a way for me in for Zelda Ocarina of Time, because you go through these different dungeons, which are pretty much just castles in this game, and you explore these different areas though. So you do, you visit Odeo Town, and you visit these different other areas, these other different towns like Sazin Town, and there's like these other ones, Ghost Town, and there's these, as I said, these different dungeons where you have to go through and fight, different bosses and the things like that. Now, it's a very interesting game indeed. As you say, you could play as the four main characters though, but the thing is, you're only going at the start now, so you are. But then as you progress onwards, you can unlock the other characters because you meet them along the way, while you explore Japan, like Age of Japan, and you get these different power-ups. So you do, like, you have you pretty much your pipe. So you do, Goman has the pipe. Ibisamaru, I believe, has the big mallet hammer, so he does. Yai has the like samurai sword katana, and Sasuke has these little like daggers or shurikens pretty much. And also they are joined along the ride with Impact, which is this big mechanical robot, which in certain parts of the game you actually do this little area where you're in this sort of kind of third person view, and you just roll around with Impact and kind of jump over obstacles, and try to avoid not getting damaged by certain things shooting on your own way. And then all of a sudden you're in first person mode and you fight this boss at the end, and you pretty much have this HUD and tells you like the boss's damage and things like that now. And you have these different attacks, like you can grab him, do these different punches, you have a laser, and also you can shoot the little wee coins, Rio, which is pretty much the currency in the game, so it is. The game was released in 1998 in North America and Europe, and so it's pretty much was released before Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, like I said, and I really enjoyed though. It's a game that has really cheesy humor, because if you're like the guy who likes cheesy, there's actually a laugh track in this game when there's certain bad jokes are said, bad puns or whatever, and you hear this laugh track goes, so if you like that kind of silly, stupid, cheesy humor and sad, silly puns and jokes, then this pretty much is the game for you. I absolutely love the game. I know I haven't done it justice here though. I should have be put more prepared. I'll try that for next time. But if you want to look for it, go on YouTube and look for videos for it though. It's a very enjoyable game though. So it is. I think it's one of those games that's overlooked on the N64. It's actually probably in my top 5 N64 games, and I just really enjoy it though. It's just music I absolutely love. Um, Afterwards, Liam, go on YouTube. Once we're finished here, and enter in "Gorgeous My Stage,"
Okay.
and you'll see the craziness in this game. And also choose the intro as well, because the intro is pretty awesome, and I'll actually be using a part of that intro for the introduction of this podcast. So will be. So look out for that. You already will have heard it though, but by the time of this is up though, but that's part of the Mystical Ninja soundtrack, a little sound clip that I have for the start of the podcast anyway, in case you were wondering what it was. So anyway, I think that will do for that now for this week now. But as I said, I should be more prepared for next time though. Like I said, I could have gone for Shenmue because I know more about it than I do Mr. Ninja Star and Goman though. But for next time, I will, be more prepared. So anyway, Liam, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we move on?
Not that I can think of, matey. Last week I touched a bit upon the Zelda Symphony that I went to back in October. If you'd like me to talk about that for our American listeners that might possibly be listening, that might be attending some of the concerts.
Yes, go ahead. If you'd like to talk about it, feel free. I believe it's happening at the moment around the States.
It is. I think someone that I'm subscribed to and have become, quite good friends with, called the Grimlock Hero, is attending one in California. I think he said he's going to. It's one of those years on the end. It's either California, Philadelphia, or somewhere like that. So this one's for you, matey. Basically, when I went up there in October, it was absolutely magical. Outside the Hammersmith Apollo in London, they had all of these different banners out in gold and black with picture of Link and I think it was the Triforce that was in gold, and underneath that picture there was a 25th anniversary. As you see on most posters, and you probably all got the limited edition version of Skyward Sword, where you've all seen it on the disc itself, for those who weren't able to go. Have you got the limited edition version, Darro?
Is that the one that's basically with the gold Wiimote?
It is.
Yes, I've got that one, yeah.
What did you think of the CD?
I actually haven't listened to it at all, to tell you the truth.
So, that was kind of helpful. Anyway, back on track.
I'm sure it's great anyway. I'll take your word for it.
It is. As you entered the venue itself, I don't know if they did this in the Los Angeles or Tokyo, but as you all know, you have to line up in order to enter a building. You don't push in lines. That is not courteous enough. You line up like everybody else. But instead of having a red carpet, which are shown at the Oscars and, BAFTAs and any other kind of award show ceremony or movie premieres, it was a very nice touch because they had the Kokiri green tunic coloured green carpet, which was really, really nice. So walking up that carpet to enter the building was amazing, Thinking of walking across something that has so much nostalgia that, that you've walked across something that means so much to you, regardless of it being red or green, to enter a building like that is just bloody fantastic. Now, as you enter the building, it was really, really packed, and I don't know if they'll have this in the American ones, which are part of the world tour, But up in the balcony of the Hammersmith Apollo in London, they had basically preview games of Skyward Sword. And obviously now Skyward Sword is out. I doubt they'll be doing that now, but for every other kind of TV screen and demo, they had the different consoles and the games on top of it. So you had two NESs, and then the two separate boxes of the NESs. You had Zelda 1, Zelda 2. Then you move on to Super Nintendo with A Link to the Past, and so on and so forth. So really, that brought back a load of nostalgia. And just talking to people in the lobby, it brought back so much nostalgia. What games you love, which were your favorite characters and your favorite enemy bosses, and which really hit home was talking about soundtracks, because not being I'm probably going to get slated for this, but not being a overly massive fan of the Wind Waker, it's one of those, it's either you love it or you hate it with the cartoony cel-shaded graphics. But having not played it properly to its end, I have completed it, but it was one of those ones where I just sat down and completed it, and I didn't really absorb anything because I didn't feel much into it. But listening to some people, reminisce about some of their favorite tracks, like on the ship when you're patrolling, going through the seas, and the opening title screen, because back when I was a child, I just hit start, and just move on. And yeah, then obviously you had the vendors selling overpriced posters and t-shirts. T-shirts, regardless of whatever size they were, if I remember correctly, were £25. And posters that you can buy on the internet, that you've seen on Club Nintendo and things like that, were £20.
Really, for a poster? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and on the thing at the top of the vendor, I'd taken a picture of it, and it said once in a lifetime posters. So, people were dashing, they bought the t-shirts and the posters, and by the time that I managed to get to the front of the queue, the poster and the t-shirt that I wanted, to frame, both of them were unfortunately sold out. So I was a bit fucked off there, I must admit. And
yeah, would you want to pay £40 for a poster and a t-shirt?
I would have, so I was in London, I was being a tourist, you know how it is. You go to a new place, you pay over the odds for whatever you see. So being a massive fan, I would have bought anything for any price that night, because it was simply magical. Now back in the venue, taking my seat, spoken to a couple of very nice people, because as I've told somebody before, I did win a competition, which was, yes, they're being brought up again, which was put on by Game. I was lucky to win the tickets from Game, but unfortunately I had nobody to go with. So I went up by myself.
Aww.
Yeah, aww. So yeah, I was sat by myself, sat next to the other competition winners, which were very nice people. And this Twitter user that I've been conversing with for quite a long time now, called TurtleGirl73. She is the editor, or the runner of the girlgamers.co.uk. I don't know if you heard of that site, Darro.
No, I haven't.
So it was nice talking to them briefly, because I was basically running late. But you sat down, the lights dim, and I'm not going to spoil this for anyone, but you sit there and just basically take it all in.
Yeah, transport the Hyrule and back.
It is. I am man enough to say I wept. And, weeping, crying, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't until the whole the Ocarina of Time, where it got into where they play the harp for the menu system and the fairy fountain bit, because that is personally my ringtone, and that's when I started gushing. Man, that was so beautiful. So beautiful. And then halftime, it's the intermission, if you want to be posh and fancy Nancy about it. But there was this guy, because before I was told that you could only get a program or catalogue of the evening's entertainment of what was happening was if you were a VIP member. So I was pretty peed off about that. But in the intermission, Chappie's coming up, the usher coming up the aisles, with a big fucking box of programs. I was like, oh, hey, mate, can I have one of those? It's like, oh yeah, sure. How many do you want? It's like, well, how many can I have? It's like, you can have two. It's like, all right. So I pinched two from
I was going to say, I'm going to have the whole box, please.
So I pinched two from him. I should have said, I'll take the whole box from you, matey, but I didn't. I restrained from that. And then we got onto the second half. The second half was actually better than the first half, I'm afraid to say, but, each person takes their own direction of which half that they preferred. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, I don't think I have, but we had a special MC for the evening, the Master of Ceremonies. Now, I don't think that you'll have this because it was a one-off in America and during the world tour. It was just for the London one, but Darro, you probably know who I'm talking about. I've spoken a lot about her on my Twitter feed, and I absolutely have a huge crush on her.
I don't have a clue, to tell you the truth.
Zelda Williams.
Oh, right, yes, that's correct.
So, yeah, she looks absolutely fabulously stunning, as she always does, I've had a thing for her ever since I saw it in Never Look Up. Or Never Look Up. I had to think then. That film where she stars with... seriously, Karen, I only watched it because of her, and she's only on screen for about 15-20 minutes total. She plays the ghost of a... Well, not... Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Just check it out. I'm rambling here, You probably want to get on to the next bit of the...
No, I don't really. Believe me, I was rambling on earlier, though. You pretty much didn't get a look in earlier when I was rambling, so free. This is your time now.
But Never Look Up, it is, for what it's worth, it is a film worth checking out. Just because she plays a character called Mattia, and she's a ghost of this temple thing, and she gives birth to kind of like a devil baby. It's one of those horror flicks that you've got to be into, but as I said before, I only checked out because of the gorgeous one was in there, So she was, guiding us through what we were going to listen to throughout the evening, and I'm trying to think of his name. AJ Enuma, I think he's called. Yeah, he is, just looking at the program that I've got beside me. He had a Japanese translator, and he would come on, like at the beginning and during intermission, and when everybody was ready to listen to a bit more. And at the end, because as you'd expect, they all got standing ovations, so it was bloody amazing. If you were a friend of me on Twitter back then, you would have seen the TwitVids on my crappy camera back then that I had uploaded to TwitVid, and he was explaining how he was honoured that so many people could enjoy so much time, and how unfortunately one of the American people that went to see it, unfortunately they uploaded the whole concert onto a site, which he was really, really appalled about, and it was really joking, and then he went off, and then
Was it taken down?
I have no idea. I haven't actually personally seen it, so...
Was it on YouTube, or do you know what site it was, actually?
I don't, I'm afraid to say, but he did say that there was a lot of heckling going on, talking throughout the performance, and he said it was quite nice to listen to the English crowd or the British crowd who were there, just taking it all in and applauding when it was time to applaud, and standing up when, standing ovation and things like that. So, unfortunately, I don't know where that site is, because no doubt you'd probably try and find it at the end of the podcast to see what the fuss was about. But
no, I'm sure it's a brilliant day. I would have loved to go myself, though, but saying it'd be just hard to try to take work off and things like that now, and I'm sure it wouldn't have cost me an arm and a leg to stay in some hotel in London and that there anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put it up there. As I've been before, if they do come to London again during their world tour, I will be going again.
I believe they are, though, but I could be completely wrong. I believe they might be going back to London.
I hope so. I've seen that they've released tour dates for America, which I was rambling on about. So, finally, to sum this all up, at the end, we were greeted by the amazing composer. We all know him. We all love him. He's created some of the best soundtracks for the Nintendo company that, in every game that we know and love, such as the Super Mario Brothers. I think he was in Castlevania and games like that. He is Koji Kondo. He was actually there, and at the end where everybody gave the first standing ovation, he came onto the stage and said, "How many of you remember the Grandma's theme from Wind Waker?" So everybody was like, "Yes, we all do." And then, he was...
Someone shouted, "No, don't!"
Yeah. I can't take this anymore. Yeah. But, so he just, greeted everybody, said thank you for coming out, and does anybody remember the Grandma's theme from the Wind Waker? And we were like, yeah. And he just went behind where he was standing and just gave us a little tinkle on his piano, which was really, really nice. And then he came back out and said thank you again for coming out, and it was a pleasure to play in front of so many people. And unfortunately, that was the end of that. I had to dash off because I had a coach to catch, which was literally half an hour after the performance had finished. But if you do have the chance to go, despite where you live, it's really, I was going to say it's a once in a lifetime, but if it does come to London, it would be a twice in a lifetime for me. So if you do ever get the chance, do not pass it up. Go, enjoy it, reminisce, you'll absolutely love it.
Yeah, if it ever came to Belfast, which chances are slim to none, I would get a ticket in a heartbeat.
Being a Zelda fanboy like me, matey, you'd probably be front of the queue.
Yeah, and I'd also love to go though anyway though. Because I remember the E3 last year that they did the whole, medley.
Yeah.
I think that was absolutely brilliant though, and just I'm sure it was pretty much just like that, but even more special.
It was. From a grown man, that probably doesn't look as though he cries at all. Like, he's got a stern, posture, and, basically would turn milk, sour. I was gushing like a baby. It is just simply magical,
Yeah, I'm sure there's like Americans like experiencing that now.
Yeah.
Do you know when it? How? Actually, before we move on, I just want to ask, how long was it overall?
Including the intermission or taking the intermission out?
Taking the intermission out.
It was roughly about an hour and a quarter, hour and a half, give or take.
Right. How long was the intermission?
15, 20 minutes.
So roughly about nearly like 2 hours,
Yeah.
nearly then.
Pretty much.
Overall.
Pretty much. The only downside that I did find was it was, only the games that were released on the N64 and, consoles. There was hardly any handheld music at all. There was no Zelda 1, Link's Adventure, Link's Awakening, none of those. Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, no music from there whatsoever. So hopefully next time that they'll incorporate some of that, because I'd love to hear a bit of Telltale Heights included in one of the concerts.
Did they play Dark World?
They did.
Yes, that's pretty much my favourite Zelda theme. I love that theme.
I suggest to you, right after this podcast, don't go play Dark Souls. Don't play Deadly Premonition. Don't play Shenmue or Goemon or anything like that. Just stick the 25th anniversary CD in. Just stick it in. The first time you'll hear it, you'll love it. Even if it's on in the background, Just plug it in. Give it a listen, mate. I've listened. Carry on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll just let you finish.
I've listened to mine in total now. I've kept the tally. I've listened to mine 11 times. 11 times on one CD, The last time that I played a CD album like that was bloody Spice Girls Spice World, I'll tell you, mate.
Oh, God.
So, yeah,
Fever forever.
I'll be waiting.
Everlasting like the sun.
Viva forever. For the moment. Ever searching for the world.
I think we've lost every one of our listeners there.
Yeah, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, I think it was in before this. I think it was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now there was a version of Dark World in it, I believe, and I think I really liked it as well. So anyway, moving on to our last segment, which is of course what we've been watching, pretty much movies, TV shows, the whole kit and caboodle. So, Liam, what have you been watching?
You start off, mate. I've just rambled for 15 minutes. The people who are listening are probably wanting to listen to your voice now, mate.
I was like, oh God, please let him talk. Okay, I've been watching a few things though. As I said, I'm still using Netflix pretty much non-stop. £5.99 per month for that service. That's just easily worth it though, in my opinion though. And just the amount of content there is. Um, I found out that there was a certain show that was added on recently that I watched when it was on Nickelodeon here. I didn't watch it the first time when it was on because when it was first on in here, I was only about like 4 or 5. I was like a little wee baby pretty much. And they, those like old shows get syndicated and that there on different channels, throughout its lifetime then. And they showed them then on Nickelodeon, I think like several years ago, sometime during the 2000s, I believe anyway. And that's where I watched it there, and I really like the show. It's a pretty cheesy show. It is set in a high school in California, and it stars a certain blonde character called Zach Morris. So Liam, what's the show?
It's alright because I'm saved by the bell.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell. People will be wondering, what the fuck why are you watching that shit pretty much?
Yeah.
As I said, I really like that show though. I tend to like shows set in high school. So they do certain shows set in high school anyway, and this is one of those ones I like. Like I actually liked Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well when it was on, and she left high school and when she was in college, it went downhill.
It went down the shitter, I must admit. I used to love it as well.
Sister, liked it, went to college, went downhill. So pretty much when most shows to me go to college, I tend to think they actually go down the shitter then. They tend to just get worse. And a few of those shows were the same. Saved by the Bell, the college years, it lasted like a lack of episodes and then it was cancelled. Sister, went to college, I said, went crap. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, a few other ones as well. There's actually one show that I mentioned last time, Buffy, where when she went to college in it was actually still pretty good. So anyway, I've been watching that though, and I just absolutely love that show though. I've just been flicking through random episodes. So, and it actually has the precursor as well. Good Morning Miss Bliss, which was like the precursor to Saved by the Bell, where it was pretty much set in an entirely different school, and it had 3 of the main characters in it. It had Zack, Screech, and Lisa. But it was more focused on this teacher who's known as Miss Bliss. Now, have you ever seen that at all?
That was with the 3 characters which got recast, wouldn't it? Or were they introduced new characters?
It was before. It was like those 3 characters. It was like Zach Morris, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Screech, Dustin Diamond, and Lisa Lark Flores. It's pretty much those same 3 characters, and then they had these 3 other characters as well, which were pretty much gone, as said, and like Miss Bliss, who's starred in Hayley Mills, who's this English actress who done like Disney work and currently on Wild at Heart. If you're from the UK and actually watched that show, she was in that there. And I also had, of course, I had Dennis Haskins, Mr. Belding as well. But it was set in entirely different. It was set in somewhere in Indiana, apparently. It lasted like a lot of episodes, like 13 episodes. It was canned, and then they rebranded it later to Saved by the Bell, where they moved it to California. They had those 3 characters back with Mr. Belding, along with 3 more characters. And of course, we all know that was much more successful. So did you actually watch Saved by the Bell during your childhood or whatnot?
I did, with good old Kelly Kapowski, with old
Uh,
AC Slater, and the other one, which completely slips my mind.
Jessica Spano. Yes, I know the
Yes.
characters. That shows how sad I am.
How we are, my friend, how we are.
Yes, actually, yeah. We're both sad together.
Let's together, we're all sad together.
Yeah, so I've pretty much been watching that now. Do you have a favorite episode?
The final, where they graduate, where they create,
Yeah,
where they create a brand new school song,
right,
where Screech does his own adaptation of Home on the Range.
right. Well, yeah, that's the school song episode, which is pretty much the thing is though, it's kind of weird the way it's thing though because there was a graduation episode where they graduated and then they actually had a lot more episodes, but they didn't have Jessica Spano, Elizabeth Berkley, and Kelly Kapowski in them with Tiffany Amber Thiessen. It was there, and it was this other character known as Tori.
Yes.
So it was, and then that was the proper last episode, and pretty much they're known as like the Tori episodes. So they are. Um, yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. My favorite one, I don't know if you know it, is Cut Day. Do you know what that one is?
That's the one where Zach cut every lesson, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, he has to try. He can't cut he can't cut the day because if he does, he gets suspended. I just really like that one. It's just one of those ones. Like once I seen that on there, I said, "Yep, that's the first one I'm gonna watch because I love that episode and pretty much been watching a lot of random episodes since then." Um, I watched some of the first episode of Game of Thrones before I went to work there like last week on Blu-ray because I bought it on Blu-ray. Now, have you watched Game of Thrones?
I haven't. It's one of the series that I've been, told by our good friend Andy.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's read all the books as well, so he pretty much knows what's going to happen for the next lot of seasons.
Yeah. He's saying, "Oi, watch this," and unfortunately, I just haven't gotten around to watching them yet. So
Well, probably now's the best time to watch it though, since it's out in DVD and Blu-ray, and the second season is on Sky Atlantic here, and I think it's HBO in North America. Um, Starting April 1st. It's April 1st and April 2nd. So I'm very much looking forward to the second season because I watched it when it was on Sky Atlantic last year. Absolutely loved it, and then I was pretty surprised and very cool thing as well in that I found out that some parts of it were actually recorded in Northern Ireland. So they were, which I found pretty cool. And actually as well, one of my taxi drivers as well, who brings me to work, actually said he actually played as an extra in a few episodes as well, which I found quite interesting as well. So it's a very good series. So I've pretty much, if you haven't checked it out by now, then go ahead get it now. It's a very great, enjoyable series. So it has its swearing, it has its nudity, it has its action as well. But it's just a very interesting series. So and there's some twists and turns along the way, especially one towards the end, which if you haven't read the books, you'd find pretty surprising indeed. So I'll pretty much leave it at that. I watched a few more WWE stuff. Like I watched some of the Heart and Soul anthology. Have you seen it at all?
the Heart and Soul, that's Bret Hart, yeah.
It's the Heart and Soul anthology where they go through like it's pretty much through the Hart family history pretty much, and it goes through like each of the different Hart children and that there, and just goes through some of their stories and that there. I haven't watched all of it now. I have to actually finish off watching it, but it's pretty enjoyable, but not the best work they've done, as I said last week. Rise and Fall of ECW is still my favourite. I think that's pretty much all that I've watched though at the moment though. It's like there's stuff I need to watch badly. I still need to watch. I have to watch. I have to watch The Walking Dead. It's pretty much it's finished this Friday here. It's already finished in the States. It'll be finished this Friday. I haven't watched a single episode of it, and I've got all of them on my Sky Plus, and I haven't watched a single episode from either season. I don't know if you've watched it whatsoever.
I haven't. That's another one that's, drifted past me as on our way through the highway of TV stardom, so I'll need to pick up on that one as well.
Yeah, I heard great things about it though anyway. But I heard like the second season of it kind of goes a bit downhill. It's kind of dull though, but then sort of picks up towards the end though, and I think a lot of people were happy with the way second season ended from what I've seen on Twitter anyway, so I better get my ass moving and, watch it though before pretty much have every bloody season up on my Sky Plus and haven't watched a single one. So that's pretty much myself done though, so Liam, go ahead.
What have I been watching? I think, was it you that I was speaking to on Twitter the other day about watching? I can't remember what it's about, but I can't remember what it's called. Of course I know what it's about. I bloody watched the thing. It was the one where the 80s video game aficionados.
Chasing Ghosts. I believe, yes, I believe, it probably was myself because I did mention that I watched it. Oh, so actually, I forgot to mention before, I actually watched King of Kong.
Good. That's all I'm going to say is good.
I did watch it though, and I know people probably saying because of, like, they did this editing though, and apparently I heard that the producers, like, kind of faked it and things like that there afterwards. But even when I did watch it, Billy Mitchell came across as a major asshole.
Yes. I must agree with you there, my friend. I must agree.
But apparently, like, afterwards, so that just the way it was edited and things like that, and apparently the producer said that was fake or things like that. Apparently, so but still, he still come across as a major asshole, especially at the end, which I'm not going to spoil it. But for those who've watched it, you pretty much know what I mean.
Mm.
So go ahead. Stop. Sorry for interrupting you.
No worries, matey. Back to Chasing Ghosts. I particularly enjoyed this documentary. It did shine a different light on Billy Mitchell, I must admit, on how he became such a good arcade video game player.
Yes, I watched it as well there last week as well, and it did actually. He didn't come across as a major asshole like he did in King of Kong.
There was only one bit of it where I did think, oh, well, you are a bit of a douchebag, but other than that, it was the bit where he completed Pac-Man and got every single key and didn't die and basically got a perfect game?
Yes, I think he was apparently the first person in the world to ever do it, and he got like commended by the creators of Pac-Man and that at the Tokyo Game Show and that there.
And the line that he said was something along the lines of something about the creators of the creators of Pac-Man gave me this, and what I can't remember the quote itself, but it was something which made me think, oh, you're a bit arrogant again, but it showed how he helped Walter Day and how Walter Day helped him, and there's so many different people that starred in the documentary, I seriously cannot remember any of their names.
The only ones I remember is Walter Day, like he directed the thing, Billy Mitchell, Steve Sanders, and that guy was it Mr. Awesome Royal Skilt or whatever you pronounce his name. That's pretty much the ones I only remember.
Just because they were so extrovert in what they did in their later life, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and pretty much because the reason why as well that they were in King of Kong. That's pretty much why I remember them from it as well.
And it just goes to show how competitive the arcade kind of games were like back then, because two of the chaps, at the end you'll see, I won't spoil it, but they meet up after about a 25-year,
Yeah.
where they didn't talk to each other, and it was just over. The older chap walked into the place where the younger chap was playing an arcade game, and he was in front of his woman, and he said, "Oh, I've just beaten your high score," and walked out again without saying.
Yeah, and then he didn't talk for him, didn't talk to them since then till that was done.
Which
Yeah.
I found was bloody humorous, you know. No, congratulations, mate, you beat my score, or nothing discreet, you know. Don't mean to show you
Just
off.
pretty much just yeah, don't mean I should just pretty much a sign it fuck you.
Yeah, turn around, kick him up the ass, and be on his way, basically. But none of them really stood out to me, other than those, you know, those people. I mean, you had the guy which had the massive amount of spiders, which I quickly fast forwarded. Kept in.
Oh, it's just I think it was Terry. Oh fuck, what was the name? I think it was Terry Jones or something like that. So I think it was Terry something though. But yeah, he kind of lived in a bit of a shithole it seemed.
Yeah. He slept on the floor in his house, which was kind of creepy. But anyway, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. The next thing that I've been watching is I'm all caught up to date with this program with the American side of things. I don't know what episode we've got over here on Channel 4 E4, and it stars the lovely Zoe Deschanel.
The new girl.
It is. Have you seen any of these, my friend?
No, I haven't, but I know it just started on Channel 4 there like a few months ago. So they did a month or two ago anyway.
It is a really nice, quirky kind of TV show. I must admit, I was, you know, Zoe Deschanel. I saw her in 500 Days of Summer, and I thought, oh, we've got a star on our hands here. And ever since then, anything that she's been in up until now, from 500 Days of Summer, I have sat back and, you know, watched. And unfortunately, was it Damon Wayans Jr. who was cast in the pilot episode as coach? Unfortunately, he's no longer in it now. We've got Winston, which is played by someone whose name escapes me, but that's the only major revamp of the show. We've got characters Schmidt, played by Max Greenfield. We've got Zoe Deschanel, who plays Jess Day. We've got Cece, played by Hannah Simone. And we've got the last chap's name escapes me all the fucking time. Oh, anyway, the last guy. We'll just call him the last guy. He's the guy with the beard and the big forehead and.
Yeah, I couldn't help you there. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know if I'll be sure that I'd actually like now. I just tend to watch like it's just sometimes there's a show that a lot of people love, but I haven't come around to watching yet. There's other shows that I watch that not a lot of people seem to get, like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. I must admit, my favourite episode so far is the one where Winston plays the bells when Jess brings them home and brings like 6 or 7 of these like detention kids home, and he tries to teach them how to play Eye of the Tiger with handbells. And Winston is the shit. I mean, you know, whether it's, you know, dubbed over, you know, he's just whacking a couple of bells, or whether he is genuinely good, you know. I didn't produce the show, so I can't tell you myself, but that so far is my favourite episode, because some of the stuff that Jess comes out with, you know, to try and keep down with the kids is just so funny.
Has the season over yet in the States, do you know?
It isn't. The last one that I saw is the one where Schmidt, because Schmidt's got some sort of OCD or something where everything has to be prim and proper with him, and he basically does a 180 and basically becomes a dirt whore. And, you know, he goes out, he joins a hippie, like, kind of people, and basically he says all of his roommates all say, you know, oh, you're a stick in the mud and you don't do anything exciting, you stick to a rota and things like that. And that one is quite funny because he starts playing a sitar, I believe. But, you know, that's the American one, and I don't really want to spoil it for anybody, so.
Yeah, I know it's on Channel 4 like Friday nights now. I don't know if I think it'll probably still be on at the moment though, but I might check out an episode or two and see if it's my kind of show.
It is a good show. You know, I watched the first one and thought, is it going to be tacky or is it going to be, brilliant? And from my point of view, it is bloody good. But you know, give it a watch. Come back.
It's like a comedy pretty much at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, like that's probably one of my favorite genres though. As I said, most of the shows like most of the films and shows I really liked are comedies. Like I pretty much like stuff like Frasier, Father Ted, Family Guy, Curb Your Enthusiasm, shows like that. So pretty much a random range of comedy shows.
But it is definitely one to check out. And if you do manage to watch it next week, matey, come back and tell me all about it and how you found it.
I will. I'll have to record it though because I'll be working Friday night when it's on. No, I think it's on an 8 or so, I believe. I forget, but I'll record it anyway.
Sweet. Finally, I did notice in our comment section below in our YouTube channel, we did have somebody who enjoyed our wrestling talk. Now,
yes,
I did manage to watch WWE Raw Monday night. I stayed up and watched it. I shouldn't have because I got up and I was cranky, but another, I would say, a good show leading up to WrestleMania, I must admit. It's a shame that I missed the week before because that apparently was one of the best in years, where Cena and The Rock at a concert where Cena rapped and The Rock sang to Cleveland.
you could probably just watch clips of it somewhere online. I'm sure there's like 50 of them up online somewhere anyway.
I did. I watched them on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much when you you watch the online Raw, you watch on Raw, and then like probably a couple of hours later you're gonna see it online, no problem.
Yeah. Good show. Started off with Punk and Jericho, trading, insults towards each other. A couple of weeks ago or last week, Jericho brought out that Punk's dad is an alcoholic. So, Jericho doing what he does best, getting into the mind of Punk when it comes to insulting people's families and things like that. And this week, apparently, CM Punk's sister is a drug addict.
Yes.
WWE, be a star, that's gone out the window. Don't bully people. Jericho comes up with, oh, well, your sister's a crack addict or some shit like that, and basically blows Be a Star out the window.
Yeah. Jericho.
Gotta love Jericho, don't you? No matter what.
Yeah.
Bloody.
As I said last week, I pretty much I enjoyed him ever since he debuted in WWE, and it's what 13 years it'll be this year.
And I'm glad he's back. I must admit, it was getting a bit stale in my opinion when it came to stars, but Punk Jericho, everybody wanted to see it. Everybody's going to get to see it. WrestleMania, 1st of April this year. No doubt I'll come back and we'll have a little competition and guess like winners of, WrestleMania and things like that when it comes to next week's podcast, I hope.
Yeah, so probably will do a little prediction thing on it though as well. I'll have to go through the matches though and just see. But as I said, I haven't been catching up with it at all. I just like briefly look online and see like results and things like that though. But I don't have Sky anymore, like Sky Sports, so I can't watch it like live or. But I wouldn't watch it live anyway because I don't know about you though, but the one thing I absolutely hate about watching it live is the 5-minute breaks.
Yes.
When there's a break every 5 bloody minutes.
That is one of the downsides.
And that is... Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I must admit that is a turn off for me, but I only watched it Monday because I couldn't sleep, so...
But that's the thing as well, that's pretty much a lot of US shows are the same though, where they have a break every 5 minutes, and I couldn't stand that. Like, I thought we had it bad with like a break every like 10 to 15 minutes here, where like hour-long shows or whatnot, but they have it much worse over there with the break, it seems, every 5 minutes.
It is a shame though that, that they do that, and as you said, we got to think ourselves lucky when it comes to that now, so...
Yeah, exactly though. It's just sometimes as well that this have shows. I don't know. Like sometimes it actually happens here where you watch the show and it has like the start of it, and then it has like the title screen, and then after the title screen, break.
Yes.
I just find that strange.
Moving on to the Raw, if you don't mind me going back to
Go
that.
ahead.
Cena and The Rock, that's coming, making me anticipate that more and more now. This week, John Cena was involved in an automobile accident.
Yes, apparently he was, and luckily he's okay though, because if he actually did end up getting injured, like seriously injured, that would be pretty much a big blow for to that card
It would
and
have.
buy rates.
It would. And there was a thing. I don't know if you've seen Botchamania on YouTube.
Mm, I think I've seen certain things on Botchamania, like the certain things on it on YouTube, I believe, but just refresh.
Well, basically, it kind of shows all the botches, and well, botches are kind of like mess ups in the ring, like promos.
Blown spots.
Yeah, basically, and all throughout different promotions. And John Cena has one of his own where he faced Punk, I believe. Well, Punk was part of the Nexus. He had just come out the commentators area with his suit on and attacked Cena with a steel chair. And it basically showed Cena how quickly he recovers from a chair shot, and it took him only 20 seconds. So, there was a joke going around the internet on all these dirt sheets that I look at and all these different things, and basically it says, well, Cena can no-sell a chair shot in 20 seconds. He went and proved that he could no-sell a car accident in one night. Which was really funny.
Oh boy.
So Cena, car accident or no car accident, he did appear on Raw and he faced off against Mark Henry.
My favorite wrestler.
Cena fought Mark Henry, and surprisingly, Cena won. And basically, The Rock had enough of that, so The Rock came down, basically rock bottom. Mark Henry, blew the water out of all the rumors that the Nation of Domination could have, rebranded and, got all because Ron Simmons has been inducted into the Hall of Fame and, blew all the rumors of them reuniting out in the water. Even though there was no rumors, I'm just making this up. But, rock bottom, The Rock left the ring, and that was it. So that was the Rock and Cena segment. It was pretty short, And then The Rock did a promo just before that, which was basically, I'm going to kick your ass, Cena, all over Philly, and he was stood in front of the Rocky statue.
Yeah, seen the image of that on the WWE site.
And really, that was it on the Rock Cena side. I'm hoping that they pull their finger out next week. Make it really, really anticipating and things like that. So,
do you think that's going to be the main event?
I do. I must admit, because who have we got? We've got the only other main event contenders are the WWE title match, which is Punk and Jericho, which could be main event, but for the past 3 or 4 years, the main event has been taken up by The Undertaker, hasn't it? Undertaker Shawn Michaels and Undertaker Triple H.
No, Undertaker Triple H wasn't the main event last year. What was last year? That was the Miz and John Cena last year, which was pretty dire.
Yeah. I apologise, I got something wrong for once. But yeah, the rest of the card was pretty dire. We've got, the whole Raw card was dire because we had an official announcement. We've got Maria Menounos of some crappy US talk show is teaming up with Kelly, and they're facing off against Eve Torres and Beth Phoenix. Once again, Beth Phoenix is getting screwed out of a decent opponent,
Once again, they bring in flipping stupid reality stars or whatever, because wasn't it last year where they had Snooki?
They did. Snooki, Trish Stratus, and John Morrison, they faced against Dolph Ziggler, and Lay Cool, wasn't it, or something like that?
I think it was that now, yeah. I can't remember last year because well, the thing is, I actually paid for it on Skype. The thing is, I actually never got charged for it, so I pretty much got it for free last year, and I'm glad because I did I think last year's card kind of sucked.
It did. But the Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania is going to be interesting. The promo that Undertaker cut that HBK is better than Triple H was quite amusing because, you know, Shawn Michaels at the end of anything when he's praised for anything, he does that little stupid grin that he always does.
Yeah.
And he did that to Triple H and then swiftly changed back to a kind of like a straight face while he was looking at Triple H, which was quite funny. Personally, I can't see the streak ending this year. You know, somehow, some way, the Undertaker's gonna come out victorious. As I said,
I think it's the 20th this one. It'll be 20-0, wouldn't it?
I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure.
Yes, I think it is 20-0 this year if he does it.
It's either 19 or 20. You know, no doubt somebody in the comment section will tell us otherwise if it's not. But the whole Team Teddy against Team Johnny is getting a bit out of hand as well.
It's like a 12-man tag match, isn't it?
It is.
Like, that's going to last all of 5 minutes or something when all of them are like in the ring ruckus and then just have a couple of them fighting and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to see.
I'm hoping they turn it into an elimination tag team match.
Well, there's 8 matches announced already and that's probably the card done though, unless they do a stupid filler match, but I don't see that happening since I think 8 matches is enough.
Be interesting if they introduce a tag team title match because that's gone down the shitter recently as well.
The WWE tag team title division's gone down the shit since about 2003 and it's never been great since. No, not 2004 maybe.
I can't even tell you who the bloody tag team champions are. I think
I actually forget myself though.
I haven't even seen them on the TV in bloody weeks.
So that goes to show how important they are.
You know, give them to Swagger and Ziggler and give them some bloody, airtime, even to see the bloody titles on the TV. I can't even remember what they look like, let alone who they are.
I believe it's Epico and Primo now. I could be completely wrong. I could check online here at the moment and see if I'm right.
You probably are, mate. You probably are. But, just give the titles to somebody and give the bloody titles a prestigiousness again. It's just ridiculous what's going on, It seems that they're only focused with the main titles, the top 4, the US, the IC, the World Heavyweight, and the WWE titles. It's ridiculous.
Yes, I'm right. It is Epico and Primo. They're the tag team champions.
I thought you would have been somehow. But, looking forward to Mania. There's always going to be a couple of matches which everybody's going to hate.
Yes, like the Divas match, which will probably happen after one of the the big matches, of course, because they always do that every single year. And toilet break match.
Yeah. From a personal point of view, whenever they get a celebrity involved, you know that the celebrity's going to win. So I'm going to throw my hat at you right now. If Maria Menounos and Kelly Kelly do not win, I would do a gentleman's challenge forfeit. You've heard it here live on the podcast. I will do a forfeit of anything of your choice.
Yeah, so that'll pick a very bad game for you to play. That will probably be the forfeit.
But, the only other match that I'm looking forward to, other than the World Heavyweight title match, which is featuring Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, is the Cody Rhodes Big Show match. Now, ever since Cody Rhodes has, repackaged himself as the dashing Cody Rhodes and the disfigured Cody Rhodes, I have sat up and taken notice because, to me, him and Dolph Ziggler are going to be the future of the WWE, regardless of what anybody says. Don't know your thoughts?
I think Dolph Ziggler's like the flippin' blonde version of Randy Orton. When Randy Orton was kind of cocky character back in the day. Just seems like I just feel like he's like Randy Orton was back in the day, which is no bad thing.
Some people even come down and compare him to Mr. Perfect. So,
Alright.
That's a big honor to bestow on Dolph Ziggler, and some of his movesets that he does are flipping amazing, I must admit. But he just needs to shy away from Vicky Guerrero and Jack Swagger and basically push through the glass ceiling on his own now, you know.
I think everyone needs to get away from Ricky Guerrero.
Yeah, I remember back in 2008, 2009 when Kelly first came into the WWE, and there was a chant during ECW, things like on your back, and things like that, you know, because apparently she slept with half the locker room.
Okay.
I miss those days, I really do.
Oh, I remember when she was stuck with AJ and Vicky Guerrero, I mean. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was a different storyline, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they were actually going to get married, though, and all that there. I was like, oh, jeez.
And then the Big Show had to get in there, didn't he, and ruin everything.
Uh,
But anyway, before we lose our listeners completely, that's basically all I've been watching this week, matey.
well, okay, that's pretty much all for it. It's pretty much just over the 2 hour mark now, so this one's a bit longer than the previous one. I don't know how we did it because when we just went back there like a few segments ago, it was like just an hour, but through our ramblings on, we've managed to hit the 2 hour mark anyway, so congratulations to us.
Woo!
So anyway, guys, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Sorry for my piss poor Dallas Lights. I'll be more, prepared for next time. I just kind of rambled on. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And until then, take care and goodbye.
Thanks for listening, people.